Hi, I'm Carrie Brothers, and I am here to talk to you about professional development. You may have taken a couple of the other online classes here, but this is professional development, and we'll be talking today about why it is very, very important to stay current in our field, as it is for all professionals. So, thank you for giving us a few minutes and we can talk through this. Let me see if I can pull the PowerPoint up here. Alright, so here we go, I think. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so we're talking about professional development. Oh dear, that's not what I meant to do. Okay. Hi, I'm Carrie Brothers, and I am a trainer here at CDR. You hopefully have already seen the introduction to this course, but this is professional development, and we'll be talking in this the importance of staying up to date in early childhood development, early childhood education, as it is for professionals in all fields. So we will pull up the PowerPoint and talk through this. Well, let me see if I can pull up the PowerPoint here. Here we go. All right. Staying current in the field of early childhood development. All right. So look at that cute little baby there. A lot of educators think that continuing education is a waste of time for different reasons. They think things like, I've been doing this for so long, I know it all, so I don't need to improve. I don't need to get better. Is it really worth it? Or they may think things like, nobody even notices when I change things. And you know, we probably have all had similar thoughts, but we all know that those are not correct, and we need to really do we really need to try to change our way of thinking in this, because we are working with these kids, and we are being entrusted with their care and with their early childhood, many hours and hours and hours of their early childhood life, and it is a critical time. So we do need to be sure that we stay up to date on the basics of new research and new ideas. Times are changing, children are growing, and we need to move forward with that. Another really important point, I think that it's important for us to realize, or for us to think about, is that doctors have to do continuing education. They have to stay up to date on the latest research. And I don't want a doctor operating on me who doesn't stay up to date on things, who is using old information, because things get better in medicine. And I want doctors who are the best working on me, rather than people who are using research from 10 or 15 years ago. And that, I think, is a really good analogy to the importance of us as early childhood educators staying up to date on information. Abraham Lincoln once said, "I don't think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday." Okay, let's say this again. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. And this is a great quote, I think. Abe Lincoln here was saying that we need to be gaining knowledge all the time. If we don't know more today than we do yesterday, we're wasting time. We're doing something wrong. We're in a continuum. We're always learning. We should always be learning until the day we die. So some characteristics of lifelong learners. One is open-mindedness and inquisitiveness. Knowing that the knowledge that we have in our heads may not be complete. We need to be open-minded about getting new information, and we need to be asking more questions. We need to be asking questions about children's growth. We need to be asking questions about how to stay up to date. We need to be asking questions about cool new ideas about what to do with kids. Another characteristic of a lifelong learner is their persistent approach to learning. They are always wanting to get new information. They're reading articles, they're going to workshops, they're watching videos, They're reading books. When they're scrolling through Facebook, they click links that take them to cool articles where they can learn some of the neat things there are to learn about early childhood development, early childhood education. Another characteristic of lifelong learners is the need to master new knowledge and skills efficiently and confidently using a variety of techniques. So a lifelong learner is going to try to gain information in different ways. Like I said, he may listen to lectures, but also may go to workshops where he or she can get their hands dirty and really get into things. So they are using a variety of techniques to get new information, and this is kind of the same thing we want to do with children. We want to give them a variety of activities so that they can master new knowledge as well. Another characteristic of a lifelong learner is a need to assess and improve one's knowledge, skills, and opportunities. They want to get better. They need to get better. They want to assess themselves and critique themselves and continually get better. Status quo is not good enough for a lifelong learner. Also, respect for learning just for the sake of learning. Okay. You learn sometimes, and it's great information. It may not always be, information that is going to be entirely useful or entirely practical, but it's good information to know, and that's a good thing. So today, being a lifelong learner really is more important than it's ever been in the past, because technology is changing. Children are changing. The world is changing. It is a different place than it was 30 years ago when I was a child, and so it is an important thing. All right. Okay, who should stay current? Well, okay, really all of us should. I don't care if you are a teacher or a director, if you're a trainer, if you're a professor, a paraprofessional, if you're someone like a cook or a bus driver or a janitor or something like that. We need to all stay current in our field. And this may look differently for different people. Cooks may not need to know how to, the latest discipline techniques. And teachers may not need to know the intricacies of the latest nutrition information. But we do need to all stay current in what we need to stay current is. And I'm going to also add to that really as teachers and as directors and as trainers, we really do have a responsibility to keep parents and the public current on new information. We can do this through things like newsletters, email, Facebook posts, conversations, and things like that. You have a voice. You have a voice, and even though you may not be in Montgomery or Washington advocating on a very public level, you do have a voice here in your community. And so when you're talking to parents, tell them why coloring sheets are not appropriate for kids, or why it's not appropriate for kids that are like 2 or 3 necessarily to know their alphabet. Tell them, give them good, solid scientific information on this. Because we all have a common goal, and we love these kids and we want them to succeed. So what makes a true professional stand apart? Excuse me, I think I just had a thing pop up on my screen. What makes a true professional stand apart from others? And one is that they never stop learning. They always want to keep learning. So some things that we need to be current on. Okay, child development. If you are a teacher, if you are a director, if you are working with children, you need to have a very, very good understanding of children and how children grow and how children develop. It's going to be very difficult to be effective in the classroom if you don't have a good understanding of what proper child development is. You also need to stay current on curriculum. What is new curriculum? What is good about the new curriculum? What is bad about the new curriculums? if you create your own curriculum, looking at other curriculums and picking and choosing, things that you like from different things to develop one that is just really great for the kids that you work with. But you do need to be up to date on child development. You do need to be up to date on curriculum. You do need to be up. Oh my goodness, I've got something popping up all over the place. You do need to be up to date on the latest teaching techniques. Because as we know more and as society changes, we are having to modify our teaching techniques to better reach these children that we're working with. We need to be current on how to assess the children. We really need to be current on classroom management. I did a workshop this morning for somebody for a facility who was having issues with classroom management. We need to stay current on methods of classroom development and understanding of developmentally appropriate practice. We need to be current on teamwork, especially I would say directors, and helping and encouraging workers to work together as a team. You need to be current and up to date on different strategies for that. Family partnerships and also health and safety. Absolutely, we want to be up to date on the latest what is the word here? The latest ways to do CPR and things like that. That is why it is important for you to be certified, recertified every year or two on CPR and first aid. A lot of these other things, child development, curriculum, child assessment, these are things that you can stay current on through going to workshops, through attending workshops, through reading NACE articles, either hard copies that you get or online. You can subscribe to some really good blogs and things like that, which we'll talk about in a bit. We already just talked a second ago about first aid and procedures that change sometimes, but we also need to stay current on the recognition of reporting child abuse, neglect, and endangerment. We need to know how to tell if a child may be being abused at home. We also need to stay current on how to prevent and decrease the spread of infectious disease here. Major research news is a big deal. I think at the time of this recording, here at the beginning of 2017, it was in the past year or two that there was a lot of research that has been showing that all this antibacterial stuff that we're using all the time is really hurting us more than it's helping us. Now, 5 or 10 years ago, people weren't saying that as much, and they are now. We know that antibacterial stuff all the time is not necessarily a healthy thing for us or for the kids. And we need to also know that sometime in the next, year or two, I think that Purell and things like that will not be pulled off the shelves, but antibacterial soaps will. The soap will be left up on the shelves, of course, but the antibacterial factor in it will be taken out. So we need to know why things are changing here. So the question here is, when should we do this? If you are like a lot of people, if you're watching this, obviously you're working, so you have to be, at work. You can't be updating yourself on all the latest and greatest research when you're taking care of a classroom of kids. But you need to be doing it constantly. If you have planning time at work, you need to be using that planning time, you need to be using that planning time wisely. And this would be maybe a time where you could read a little article or something like this. I would encourage directors to really try to make this a priority for teachers. Give them 10 or 15 minutes a week, if possible, to read research. And I'm not talking the super long research studies, but some of the more layman type things that break down to research into kind of an easier way to read. We should do this at trainings, coming over to CDR, or listening to trainings online as we're developing these. Very, very important. And also, I'm going to say on our own time, none of us are in early childhood because we are looking to become very, very rich, because we're not going to be. And so saying that, yeah, you may actually sometimes at home need to take some of your own time to read an article or something like this. And this will help you, and this will benefit the children as well. All right. Something is going wonky with my PowerPoint. Okay, here we go. Where are we going to do this? Okay, colleges and universities. CDR is housed out of the University of Alabama, where there's a lot of research going on. Research is going on all over the place. So look at colleges and universities nearby to see what type of trainings you can get there, what type of information you can get from that. Distance education can provide it. Professional organizations can, like NACI. Community-based programs, adult and continuing education, conferences and seminars, webinars. If you are in a position or at a place that can afford to send you or a colleague to a conference, locally, statewide, maybe even a national conference, oh my goodness, there's another message. I'm so sorry, y'all. Let your people go to these things, because this is a great way to stay up to date on the latest research and some really great ideas. There are a lot of really good places online with webinars, some good information you can get from those that's going to give you some information that will help you within the classroom. All right, so why should we stay current? You as a person, okay, in addition to helping the kids, why should we stay current? One reason is that it builds confidence. When we have more information, and you guys know this, when we have more information, we are, generally speaking, more confident in who we are. Knowledge is a good thing. Okay, we're always being assessed on our knowledge and skills. Okay, we're always being assessed on our knowledge and skills. Whether you know it or not, people are watching you. Sometimes people are assessing you formally. Most of the time they may be assessing you informally. Your director may be looking at you. Parents walking through your board may be looking at you. So you're always being assessed. Also, it's our responsibility to, honestly. It's just, we're in this field. We love kids. It is a responsibility of ours to stay up to date. And there's just really no getting around that. We are in this field for a reason, and we need to be responsible caregivers, just as we expect people in other professions to stay up to date on things. If we hire someone to do our taxes for us, we want them to be up to date and knowledgeable about accounting and laws regarding taxes and things like that. We should stay current because we know that research is always discovering new things. We talked a few minutes ago about antibacterial stuff, and there was a point in time where people thought that bacteria was just bad. We thought that bacteria was bad all the time. Now we know that bacteria is not all the time bad, and even this so-called bad bacteria, we need to have a certain amount of that in our bodies to build immune systems. It helps to build our microbiome. This is the more and more information, more and more research is done on this, and we know more and more information about why this is important. Trends are always changing. Sometimes these are good, sometimes these are bad. If they're good, we need to stay current so we can pick up on them and do really great things. You all have heard of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. This is a trend. This is a great trend that people need to be following and implementing in their classrooms. That is a good trend. Some trends are bad. We don't want them to, but we need to be aware that they're out there. Techniques are always being revised. New recommendation for educating kids are always developing. And also, I'm going to say we need to stay current to keep the days from getting stale, to get excited. When I was coming to these trainings over here at CDR, when I was in the classroom, You know, being in the classroom is hard, and I know being in the classroom is hard, but when you can get out and, you know, get some new information and be around people who are passionate about the same things that you're passionate about, it's really easy to pick up on the excitement and to be reminded of why you're in this field to begin with. And you go back into the classroom and you've just got this bounce in your step, and you know that what you're doing is valuable. Why should we stay current when we're with each other? When we're together, we can share war stories, so to speak. And these provide a good sense of encouragement, knowing we're not in it alone. Learning more about our field helps to reduce the stress felt in the classroom by ourselves and by the children. The more we know, the more peaceful things are really going to be. It helps you to feel more confident in your career choice and helps you to defend why you do what you do. So when you have parents come to you and say, why does my 2.5-year-old not know his shapes yet? Then you can come back and, you know, explain to the parent why it is appropriate that their 2-year-old doesn't know their shapes yet, that is something that's going to come naturally with time. And right now you just want them playing with shapes and getting a sense of how shapes are different. It can help you defend why you do what you do. Job security, possible upgrade position, eventually you may earn more. This is an if, not guaranteed that if you stay current you're going to always get a higher position in your center, or or get a raise or anything like that. But it is offer a certain amount of job security, because when you're staying current, you know the information, you're excited, the kids are learning, you're having fun, and chances are you're probably going to be a loss when they get cut if you're being extremely effective in the classroom. It helps us make better use of our time. It makes us become more valuable to your employer, and it helps us to make a better contribution to the team. Think of staying current like brushing your teeth. It's really a lot easier to do a little bit each day rather than to just do it weekly or monthly to try to catch up with the neglect that you do over the course of time here. So if you can just do a little bit of staying up to date through reading articles or webinars or something like that, it's really going to be better for you than sitting down and doing a whole lot at one time. Another thing you need to know is that there really is a strong correlation between learning and sustained employment. Staff who undertake learning activities are really more valuable or more able to adapt to the changing requirements of an organization and to gain a competitive edge in the job market. And another thing that we see here when we're looking more at more formal ways of staying current, and MIT studies has shown that income increases with every year of education you get. So college graduates earn nearly twice as much per hour as high school graduates do. Openness to learning also suggests that we are flexible, adaptable, and will bring a continuous improvement to the workplace, and that's really important. All right, so the question here is how? How do we stay current? Okay, well, we need to look at our past evaluations. We need to maybe talk to our supervisor to see what areas would benefit most. I can't say this. We need to look at past evaluations and maybe talk to our manager about things that we can get better in. One of the things that consistently gets put on annual evaluations for me when I was in the classroom and since I've been working full time is that I need to be a little bit more confident in what I do. Okay, I need to be more sure of myself. I have the information. I need to be stronger in I need to be more confident about what I know. Another thing we can do here is look for advice from people whose skills you'd like to emulate. So, look at people that look at people that you love who are doing a good job. Maybe look at them as mentors possibly and see what they're doing well and how they're doing it well. Reverse mentoring is a really interesting idea here is you develop a relationship with a younger person who is excited and has lots of new knowledge. So we typically think of mentoring as looking at older people and following them, but older people can really learn a lot by looking at younger people also. If I can get this video to come up, we'll watch a short little video here that I found on YouTube about reverse mentoring. It may not work. It's not necessarily about in early childhood, but I think that it's really some good stuff here.
Cheryl Cran, in today's video, reverse mentoring. Many of my clients that I work with ask me about reverse mentoring and what does it mean. Well, traditional mentoring programs literally are top-down mentoring. So senior executive to the next level, leadership down to their next person, and it's typically used in succession planning. Reverse mentoring is a fairly new concept that's been around for the last few years, and what it is it's actually taking the unusual or the unexpected and having it work to the advantage opposite to what you might expect. So for example, a company that I'm working with right now in the transportation industry, they're very technologically savvy. Most of the leaders are very hip to the technology. However, there are some things that they know they're missing in regards to the latest advances, how to use the existing technology to its highest level. And so what this organization did with my guidance is we chose a few Gen Ys who were newer to the company, who had a lot of technological knowledge, and got them to mentor the senior executives within the organization. And the mentoring was specific around technology. And so they would meet once a week for about an hour, and the Gen Y would share the latest app information, the latest developments that they were seeing in social media. They would talk about how they're using the company's proprietary technology to increase productivity, and they would share this knowledge with the senior executives. Well, a fascinating thing happened. After simply just 1 month of them meeting, that would be 4 meetings in 1 month, once per week, the senior executives were noticing that their technological knowledge was like sped forward like that because they were learning hands-on how to increase the technological use of the tools that they had within the organization. So very exciting, because typically in traditional organizations we think, well, senior level hierarchy, we don't want somebody at a lower level to mentor up. That's just not right. We should really be mentoring down. And that's really a traditional mindset that actually inhibits growth. I would really like to see more CEOs and more senior leaders looking at how can they learn from the different people within their organization, whether that's a Gen Y with technology, whether it's Gen X from the HR department. There is always something to learn, and the best leaders are constantly looking for sources of learning. So I want you to really think about reverse mentoring as a concept in your organization. How could you make that work for you?
All right, so I think that's enough of that, but I think that's just a really interesting idea. She's talking more about the business world, of course, but I mean, it's the same. It's the same idea. Looking at letting the people who are younger, who are fresh out of school, who have just gotten some type of teaching certificate or CDA or something like that. Just offer some really good ideas to people who are slightly older and who have been doing it for a while. Even another thing is, even though you may not be looking for new employment, look at job ads to see if you have the skills that are required. If not, start developing those. You may not be looking for a new job. You may be planning on staying in your current job for, the rest of your life. But in order to, one way to stay current in the field is by actually looking at job ads and seeing what the latest trends are. What is the knowledge that employers want to see out of new employees? Keep a career journal. List your responsibilities at work, special projects, special trainings. Keep emails and letters you've received praising your work. Keep performance reviews. That way you won't forget quite so easily the things that you have accomplished. Continuing education. Sometimes this is provided, sometimes it's not. We need to take personal responsibility. Put a routing slip on an article, center directors, and pass it around work for everyone to read. And if you see something that is applicable to everybody. There's some really good blogs out there. Find a few blogs that are reputable and make an effort to check them weekly or even monthly. You may want to set a reminder on your phone to do this. It may be something that if it goes off once every 3 or 4 weeks, you just sit down for 15 minutes and read something. It sounds really simple, but it really can be hard in the sense that, you know, other things creep in, but it's important to you. Very, very important to you. Look at recent books, magazines, and newsletters. Make friends across generations. Like we were talking a second ago with the mentoring and the reverse mentoring. Older people have a lot to offer younger people, and younger people have a lot to offer older people, and we need to take advantage of that. You know, maybe look for book clubs, discussion groups, different listservs. All right, so directors, as directors, what can we do to help? I think one thing is to set clear expectations. One thing is just to let your staff know the expectations for staff development. This could include something as simple as just the number of hours that is expected to get more information in, to get some training in, required subjects, but the more specific the better. Put your money where your mouth is. Make it affordable here. If you require it, then pay for it if you can. None of us are in early childhood education for the money, but try, if you can, to set aside a reasonable amount of money for trainings. Don't make your staff have to pay for their own trainings. If they go to a night training, it would be great if you would pay them just their hourly wage for the 2 hours they are in the extra training. Let's see, make it convenient. Oh my goodness, I just went too far. Make it convenient here. Again, none of us are in early childhood for the money, and so we need to be very realistic in our expectations when our teachers can fulfill these requirements. They're not in here for the money. Let's try to make it convenient for them. Okay, we need to try to make it meaningful for them, and we are probably going to have to be very creative and helping them. If we don't have money, maybe some incentives, like maybe they get, I don't know, like, you know, a morning off of work if they do a nighttime training, a paid morning off of work if they do a nighttime training, or, you know, gift cards or things like that, just, you know, to help teachers know that they are valued, and the work that they're doing is important. All right, so an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Benjamin Franklin said this. So really, this is saying that knowledge is good. You want to build in knowledge, and it will pay off in the end. Okay, so if you have any questions, give me a call, 348-0682, and you've got my email address here. And you know that you will have an assignment or so to complete in this module. Once the entire module, the entire course is complete, then if you receive a passing score, then you will be mailed a training certificate. So thank you for your time, and you know, we're still getting this online training up and running, and so we appreciate your patience with us as we work through the different glitches and things like that. So have a nice evening.